Listen, bro, call me an expansion the way I gave her my D with my LC. Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Game Skits. Today, and only today, we are here to talk about Sonic Frontiers, potential future, and DLC. I hope you guys have been enjoying all the content lately. I'm going to keep this shit going. Also, let me know if there's other stuff you'd like me to talk about. Obviously, I adore Nintendo, but they've been kind of quiet lately besides the Mario Kart DLC stuff. So I just got to wait and see what they've got going on there. Maybe I can make a video about, it's got what they might have at the Game Awards and stuff, but we'll see about that. But guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. So the reason I wanted to make this video is because this is sort of a subtle thing that hasn't been talked about too much, which is when they added the Monster Hunter costume DLC last week. Sega PR actually made a statement saying Sega is also happy to announce that it plans on supporting Sonic Frontiers with multiple content updates that will be free to all users starting with the Monster Hunter collaboration pack and extending into next year. Now that alone is a big deal. Not many people I feel like have been like talking or speculating about it too much, maybe because like it wasn't like a big statement that was put on the main account. But yeah, so it is confirmed they will be updating the game. I've also heard that they'll be updating the game throughout next year. Now again, it's always a double-edged sword, right? When you hear free updates, right, part of me always makes it go like, okay, I gotta temper my expectations, right? It probably doesn't mean something too crazy. It probably means just a bunch of small updates that maybe are just gonna bring people back into the game for a day or two. But I have some things I would like to actually see in the game and talk about. So let's go through these. Now, first off, I think the easiest one they can go with is quality of life fixes. These are just updates that could come through the next month or two that could make some pretty notable changes to the game. For example, number one, Elder Coco, right? Obviously, everybody knows the joke with this guy. He takes forever to upgrade your stats. All they really need to do is have it so that you can select, the upgrade you want and how many times you want to level it up instead of going one by one by one. Like, I understand why both Elder Cocos are different. Like, the long one just gives you the upgrade because you're not using, a currency or choosing between two things. Whereas, with the big ass Coco, with him, because you have two options, it's making you choose which one you want to spend your points on. But going one by one like that, impossibly annoying, and just make that shit faster. Now, obviously, another big one we could talk about, right, is the pop-in, right? The one thing I feel like is pretty notable at the game that we've all noticed and all know about is the pop-in. Now, I feel like this might be to the core of the game because it doesn't seem like it's better on PC or anything. It's sort of just like part of the game. It's a little better on PC, I noticed, but it's pretty much to the core of the game that there is the pop-in. So maybe try to get some sort of big fix for that, maybe like in a year from now or something. Again, I'm not expecting it, but it would be nice. You could do some other little stuff too, like, hey, make Chaos Island like navigation a little easier, or give you like some sort of pointer. Maybe if you take too long to find something, have Sonic say something, or have some sort of indicator on the map that starts flashing as a hint to the area you need to be in to get where you need to get to. Oh, another thing, make the voice lines easier to trigger. This game, we found that there's a shit ton of random voice lines in it that Sonic says, and I've seen them all through like clips on YouTube and stuff, but I've like no one's getting to trigger them. And I think the big reason for it is apparently like the cooldown time to get it for Sonic to say is like 10 minutes or something, which no one's gonna idle for that long, really, especially playing a Sonic game. So make the extra voice lines easier to get to, because there's a lot of them, and I feel like it would, if anything, it would make more sense for Sonic to be naturally running around and just talking to himself. So more of that, please. Put the voice lines that are literally in the game, just make them easier to get to. Also, the pinball score. I know some people have had a 50-50 on this. There's a pinball minigame in the game, absurd amount of points to get for it. Again, going back at it, it's not too bad, but it can be a little annoying and very, very anticlimactic to where you're about to get to. You're about to do this crazy final boss of the third eye, and then you get to this pinball game. So I'd like something like that where, maybe they lower the amount of points, or they give you extra balls to use in that minigame. But yeah, obviously, I feel like we can go on forever about, quality of life updates they could add to the game, but I feel like those are at least the main ones I feel like I'd like to see. Let me know which ones you'd like to see. Now, the next big one I want to see is actually a story or big expansion. Now, this is something I think all of us would love as fans, but I feel like this game has so much potential now that they've opened the gates, bringing back the cast in a more, fleshed out way, and now that we have movesets and upgrades, I'm just saying, anytime where maybe you'd be thinking about doing a character DLC or island or something would be fire. So first of all, I feel like the most obvious choice for me, at least, is Knuckles this time around. I feel like Knuckles, especially with the prologue, especially with the development he gets in this game, I feel like of all times, this might be the best time to bring him back. especially because you have open areas that lends itself to finding it, what's it called, the master emerald pieces or some kind of treasure hunting he could get into. And I just feel like he feels like a natural born, explorer. I mean, they talk about it in what's it called, this story prologue, where he's exploring the Starfall Islands and he's sort of gliding around and flying around. Like, that to me says a lot about the character and how much they could do with him. And obviously, we have the fight scene that takes place later in the special. Like, I think Knuckles to me feels like the safest bet for a character DLC, especially with the big run Knuckles has been having, between the movie, between this, getting a show next year. Like, I just feel like Knuckles, on a big high right now, one of the most popular Sonic characters, and people love him. So give him some nice playable content and all that. And honestly, like, let's go beyond that. Maybe it is a Knuckles. Maybe you could do a big story thing, that's post game, or maybe you could do something, just continue with Sonic and just add new moves to his move skill set, and maybe make one of the islands have more stuff to do. I know Ray Island, the fourth one, pretty much has nothing to do. Maybe make that a full island. I don't know. I don't know if that counts as maybe like a story thing, but I would love an extra island in general. Like, that would be nice. An ice island or something like that would be fire. Let me know again what story character DLC you'd like to see. Next up, I want a new game plus / harder difficulty added. Okay, I think we can all agree to this. One of the best / worst things about open world games is you feel so powerful by the time you're at the end of them, but when you want to replay them, I feel like getting stripped of your abilities and stuff kind of sucks, right? So I would love some kind of new game plus or harder difficulty where I could play through the game with my abilities, but just everything is way more difficult. Make enemies more challenging and stuff like that. And we've been seeing mods of that. Like, there's this one mod I like called Phantom Rush that makes the combat a little more difficult, puts more health on the enemies, lowers your damage output. Like, some sort of a difficulty mode for this game, because the hard mode, to be honest, is just adding some health on stuff, but I'd like to see a little more challenge with that. I was actually talking about this on Twitter, actually, where the game actually has these little hints in the art book where you have these gold variants of the enemies in the game that we never see. There's no point where we see Gold Spider or Gold whatever the fuck the dong is over here or whatever. So there was clearly some intent for another island to have that, or some sort of extra difficulty in New Game Plus. So I would really love that. Again, beef up the challenges, make me do some more stuff, and just let me use my abilities that I've had unlocked through a different difficulty. And please, something we all want and everybody's been pretty vocal about, let people replay the Titan fights. Whether you do some sort of boss rush mode, whether you activate some button in the overworld that lets you live past events, like, I think that is the #1 thing they got to get working on, because the Titan fights are so incredible. You're seeing a lot of people make mods that allow you to that allow you to just do boss select and stuff, but even then that's not really practical, because there's one that where I can select boss 1, but I don't have too many abilities, or boss 2, I don't have them all. It's like, find a way to let people replay the Titan battles, because they are genuinely, and I think we all know, the highlight or the best part of the game. And the fact that it's barriered between, you have to basically replay the entire game to get them, sucks. So I really think the easiest fix is just having a button on each island where it's like, oh, relive past memories or something, and you can just restart the fight. Just do something like that again, or make it a big event and have a boss rush mode where maybe I don't know, you start with 500-600 rings, and that's how much you have to fight all the Titans in a row. Something like that could be fire. There's a lot of potential there they could do with the boss. Either you just let people replay them and let them be happy, or you give it a boss rush and go crazy with it, bro. Okay, next up, costumes, right? Now, we've gotten the Monster Hunter collab, and we saw that actually add an additional mechanic, with the cooking. We also in Japan have the Corone DLC, which, by the way, Yuikawa drew what's it called, Sonic with the Corone shoes and fit, and it's fire. I love Yuikawa Sonic, one of my favorite inspirations in terms of how I like to draw the character. But yeah, no, I adore the fit with this, and how it actually, even in the game, it changes the voice lines and changes the Coco. So what I like so far about the collabs is they often have like a little gimmick to it. Like, again, this one changes the sounds, Monster Hunter adds cooking. So add more collabs that always have a gimmick. I like that idea. That way it goes sort of beyond just, here's a nice cosmetic, and maybe does something cool. Like, what if they added, I don't know, a Persona DLC? Seems pretty obvious, where maybe, I don't know, if you beat an attack with the final move, it does the all-out attack or something. Or maybe you could do what's got something with, I don't know, Nintendo, where you bring back the Legend of Zelda DLC or something from Lost World, and maybe he gets a little extra animation, or the rings turn into rupees. Like, I just like little stuff like that where the DLC makes you want to do something with the game rather than just be, you know, here's a funny costume. Especially when the modding scene is already going stupid with costume mods. I mean, we're seeing incredible stuff, some of the most variety we've seen with Sonic mods. And Fry's Frontiers, what the maybe we shouldn't do this. And again, costumes are always just a nice little bonus, just a little incentive to go back to the game and check out more stuff. And the last thing I had on here was actually cyberspace levels. I mean, I think cyberspace is something about the game that I've been loving more and more as I've been playing. I remember when I first previewed the game, I was like, these are fun, you know, little arcadey things. But the more I played, the more I genuinely love them, and I really would like more of them. I really want to see more, maybe add an extra layout background, you know, type of thing. Maybe, you know, a background that looks like, I don't know, what's a good one? Again, Alaska or something like that, or maybe, because we've had cities, maybe a casino looking background or something. Either way, give me some more cyberspace. Maybe like 5 additional cyberspace levels, or maybe 10. Fucking go crazy. I don't know how long it probably takes them. You know, it probably takes them a while, even if they are asset, you know, grabbing and layout grabbing. But come on, man, give me a cyberspace expansion. I would easily play the shit out of that, and people are speedrunning and having a good time with it. So keep that stuff alive. But yeah, that's mostly everything I'd like to see from the DLC from this game. Again, I feel like in a year from now, Sonic Frontiers is going to be a very, not, I wouldn't say a very different game, but a much expanded game. I feel like there's a, like I said, there's a lot of place for improvement with quality of life fixes and some easy DLC stuff that could just make the game overall better. And then maybe, you know, maybe if they did paid DLC, they could do Sonic Frontiers Deluxe Edition or Plus, like they did with Mania Plus. Like I wouldn't be too shocked if they did something like that. So guys, let me know what you think. What do you want to see the most in Sonic Frontiers for DLC? And thank you all for watching. You're the best. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.